everybody. I just want to make a couple of closing comments before we open for questions. As you know, we had the Prime Minister here earlier today to be updated directly on the response and discussions with the Salvors as part of that. And he and I have also met with the iwi leaders as well who have been involved, thank them for their efforts, and talked more about the longer term recovery, the shape of which is all dependent, of course, on what happens with the remainder of not just the oil on the ship but the containers in the weeks ahead. In terms of the oil, I think it's fair to describe for the Salvors a bit of a frustrating time at the moment. I know they were very keen to keep pumping and be able to move from one set of tanks to the next, and I think the plan was that the settling tanks would allow to bridge the time until they got access and underway in the starboard number 5. But the same problem that has beset everybody since the beginning, which is the state of the ship and the damage, particularly to the piping network, I think has caused Rena here and caused them problems here. And as a result, they haven't been able to start the settling tanks as quickly as they would have wanted to. So we are having this period while we get both settling tanks and starboard number 5 ready for pumping. And hopefully both of those will be concluded as quickly as possible. But again, you're dealing with a whole lot of unknowns. And I thought it was quite instructive, that diagram of the tank and the different compartments in it, and the fact that it's dark, and on the starboard side that access way across the top is full of water, which just adds to the difficulty and the excitement, I'm sure, for the Salvors in terms of getting access to that oil. It is a disabled ship, and that's the bit they're dealing with every day. Also like to underline the thanks to the volunteers, and some of you may have been here a week or so ago when we said to those outside the region that there'll be plenty of time, don't rush in on the first weekend to help. Well, this is probably a good time. So particularly for those in the Waikato and in Auckland who are regular visitors to the bay, the next weekend and the weekend after, I'm sure that the locals would appreciate some additional support in terms of some of the backbreaking work that is cleaning up at this stage reasonably small globules of oil on the beach, but nevertheless they need to be cleaned up. So again, if you just go onto the website, BOP Regional Council website, then you'll be able to volunteer accordingly and come to the sunny bay for a little bit of fun in the sun and some clean up as well. So finally, I just want to make a mention of the container cleanup, and the reality is, and I think it's important with that barge arriving today, and of course we have the ship that's already here, to underline two things. Firstly, that it won't start until the oil is off the ship. That's most important for safety reasons particularly. But also the second part is that it's going to take, by all accounts, a significantly long period of time. The number of containers that you can potentially get off that ship is in the single figures per day. And we know there's a lot of containers on that ship. So I think everybody should be prepared that will be a significantly long haul. And given the fact that storms do occur from time to time, it is every likelihood further containers will end up in the sea as part of this exercise. And it's nothing that the Salvors can do about that. They've just got to deal with the hand they dealt with. And it looks a little bit like a reverse pick-up sticks exercise to try and pull those containers one by one off that ship. Again, that will not start until all the oil is removed, and that remains the focus. And finally, a question was raised earlier about the cost of the clean-up so far. I actually will refrain from giving you a number because I want to make sure it's consistently counted with the numbers that we've been given out previously. The last one you were given was just over 4 million, I think. I think that was about a week and a bit ago. But you can certainly assume that it's getting on towards the $10 million mark in terms of the oil spill response. But we just need to make sure that that's being counted in a consistent manner.